Hey guys, Dwayne here. Today I want to talk about continuing on my series of parenting with a narcissist and talk about sports. So depending on what age depending on the interests of your kids, and technically this could work for other extracurricular activities. And typically this mainly works for when they're younger and it's not high school level sports. Okay, so one thing you'll probably notice. If depending on it, okay, whatever your idea is, more than likely the narcissistic ex, and when I say narcissistic, it's just we're not like diagnosing anyone, we're just saying a type of personality. But if you're dealing with somebody in that type of category, and if you're wanting to put them in sports, more than likely there's going to be resistance, okay? And they're going to fight you on it. They're going to say, you're not allowed to do that without my permission, and you're breaking the law, or you're breaking whatever. Okay. Now, you're gonna notice a reoccurring theme that goes along with most of these topics I'm talking about, where it's basically you got the X is right here, a little circle of tornado of chaos, the circle of chaos. And if you're trying to get information and you're trying to coordinate with the circle of chaos, actually that's an interesting term. I think I may have to keep using that. Nothing's going to happen, right? And it's the same thing with the school stuff, with the teachers and everything. So you bypass it. So this is, so let's say your kid wants to play, soccer. We'll say soccer. And you want to, it's like, Daddy, Mommy, I really want to play soccer. Double check with whatever league you're doing, because if you sit there and you try to, because I went through this, and you may have too, where you're like, hey, X, Susie, because I'm going to stick with the Susie name, Susie really wants to play soccer, and then it's going to, more than likely what'll happen is that, well, it'll only, no, either no, or no, they can only play in an area that's convenient for me, or whatever. I mean, whatever is going to be this little, basically to exert control to the situation. Now, I guess technically, if it works and whatever they're trying to say fits in with what you want to do, then that's fine. But if it's not, like in my situation, the kids go to school here, we live here, we drive here, I work here, and the comment was, well, they can only go to, they can only play sports here. Well, here, I'm like right next to them where I work, so I could go get them and stuff like that. It's like, you don't have a job, I have a job, it's over here, it's not messing up. Anyways. So now, if it was the same thing and it was all over here and it all worked and it was all great, then fine. But if you're in that situation where they're saying, I'll tell you, I remember at one point being in a grocery store, and it's really sad how people who when they're going through this, it's so amazing and unbelievable that you almost, and you may be experiencing this now, where you feel like you have to talk about it because it's so incredibly bizarre. It's hard to believe. I remember this lady saying, Billy, her son, and I didn't know the lady. She was just talking to someone else. She ran into the grocery store. It's like, oh, hi, hi, person I haven't seen. Can you believe, X is doing that? Won't let him, won't go to his games. Won't let him go. Yada yada yada. I mean. So here's the thing. Don't go down that path. Don't allow yourself to get emotionally deregulated by it, and bypass it. Bypass it. Don't even, tell the ex, share the information. So if they want to participate, but if not, go around them, go to the league and say, hi, soccer league coordinator, here's my situation. Really contentious divorce. Susie really wants to play soccer. I really want her to play soccer. Parent, mom, dad, is probably not going to do it. So they may not be able to go to everything. They may only be able to go to half practices and maybe only able to go to every other game. Is that okay? Now, unfortunately, this is more common than we would. It's actually really sad at how common this is. But so more than likely, they've dealt with this before, and they'll say, not a problem, we understand, we've dealt with this before, tell the coach, and, they'll work it out. And that's what I was able to do for, I think it was like the first 2 years. So, trying to remember the time frame. So, and the first year, I'll just use Susie. Susie only got to play half the time, half the practices. Thank God the way our schedule was, there was 2 practices a week, and they were both, one was on mom's time, one was on dad's time, so she was able to go to at least 1 practice a week, and she was able to go to every other game. It was really annoying that picture day wasn't on. Now, see, okay, here's the thing. So picture day, right? And I remember this. It's like, hey, can I just take her to get a picture with her team? No. Look, I will pick her. She won't play. I will just pick her up, drive her over, get her picture, get her individual picture, get her team picture, and bring her and just bring her back to your place. No. Fortunately, the coach understood the uniqueness of it, and I actually made a special. I do photography and all this camera stuff, and so I made something special for her. But and I think, see, guys, and here's the thing, and I've said this before, these narcissists will show their true colors. They can't help themselves. So just, try to relax on it as much as possible. Don't let it get under your skin. Don't let it emotionally deregulate you. Just don't let it happen. It's easier to say, it's easier said than done, but if you understand what you're dealing with, you're dealing with a narcissistic personality person. You're dealing with somebody who has no empathy, who doesn't have the ability to think of anything other than what's in their best interest and what does their narcissistic supply. And you can make arguments whether that's BS or not, and whether whatever. But fundamentally, it is what it is, right? If they are doing those things, they're doing them. Okay, so just coordinate with the coaches. Tell the coach what's going on, and it's kind of like with the teacher thing. And realistically, if you can just remain calm and not get into the, like I've said before, she won't let her go to practice, she won't, let her go to games, and she won't do, blah, 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 blah. Just say, hey, I've told her about it. Hey, here's her information. If you want to try to contact her, be my guest. I would share everything. But see, you're going to get, I think at one point there was one season where she did let her play. Took her to the games, or maybe it was 2 seasons. I'm trying to remember. But it was a complete mind mess. Meaning, it's like, hey, are you going to let her play? Are you going to give me the information? Are you going to let her play? Are you going to give me the information? Well, here's, it's like you won't get a straight answer because you won't, right? That's just what they do. And so I had it at one point. It's like, hey, here's the information. You going to let her play? And I remember it was like, well, you didn't give me the information. No, I'm like, no, I sent it to you. Well, you didn't give me, you didn't, you didn't tell me what, it's like, you didn't tell me whatever. Whatever. There'll be something, well, you didn't tell me, what driveway I'm supposed to drive into to go to the soccer field. What? And, it's like for the first one, it was like, didn't go the first game, didn't go for the last game. So, just no communication. You don't really know what's going on. You don't know whether they're going to be there. You don't know, whatever. If the information is given to the coach, or not the coach, if they give information to the kids and the parents, you're not going to get it. You have to make sure that you establish a relationship with the coach so that they understand, so they make sure that you get the information. And, it's along the same line. So, okay, so to wrap this up, bypass the cone or the tornado, what did I call it? The cone of chaos, center of chaos. Coordinate directly with the district or the main district of the function to make kind of tell them what's going on. Unless they say, sorry, if they don't show up all the time, they can't go. More than likely, depending on what it is, they'll let them go, and let the coaches know. I mean, they'll understand and they'll do what they can. I mean, and it completely sucks, right? I mean, because then your kid's not getting, is not there as much, and it's just, it is what it's just one of those things. I remember one of the first year I was going through that, there was one lady I met who was in the exact same situation I was in, but it was opposite, right? So her weekends were opposite my weekends. So I saw her like the first and the last game, never saw her in between. And it was the same thing. Her ex-husband wouldn't let Johnny go to games on his day, And I mean, maybe there's a valid reason, maybe there isn't, I mean, my take on it is that, you're trying to establish stability for your kids. So if at all possible, you try to do it. So, anyways, I guess the takeaway on this is that there's a bunch of these scenarios you're going to go through. You have to get a point where you take that cone of chaos and you just keep it over here, and you don't allow it to control your life, to control your emotions, to set you off, and it's like, okay, well, that's over there, and I know it's over there. There's nothing I can do about that, so what do I do around it? And okay, one thing, and I know this is starting to run a little long, one thing I want to say is, as I do remember people mentioning stuff like that to me before, like just go around her or whatever. But at the time, I didn't have the context of what I was dealing with. And maybe that's a part of the problem you are. And it irritates you because this shouldn't be this way. This is stupid. It's not good for you. It's not good for anybody. It's definitely not good for your kids. And you're like, no, it should be this way. They're supposed to share. They're supposed to be a parent. And the people that were telling me that weren't saying, hey, Dwayne, you know what, dude, I've been through what you've been through. You are, here, well, I don't have a book, but, here's the book, Narcissistic X, steps 1 through 12, how to deal with it, or whatever. Nobody said that, so I had no frame of reference, and I had no concept of what I was dealing with. So it fell on deaf ears, right? But what I'm trying to tell you, what I'm telling you is I've been there, okay? What you're going through right now, I've been there, all right? And the pain and the frustration and the anxiety and the stress and anger and hurt and just that ball of just nastiness, that's the way they want you to feel. That's what this whole thing is about. As soon as you realize this, as soon as you start wrapping your head around it and just say, okay, I am not going to give them that power over me anymore, it's liberating. Right? And this isn't about, demonizing the other person, which, I mean, hey, I guess you could say that, but it's more of how do you take control of your life and your kid's life to make it better, okay? So I kind of went off a tyrant there. So coordinate around the cone of chaos, talk with the coaches. More than likely, they're going to be able to help you facilitate it. And then as this goes on, they're going to get called out on their BS, right? The kids will call them out on it, whatever. I mean, the sad part is if your kids really want to play it and they're really passionate about it and they can't do it all the time, there's really nothing you're going to be able to do about it. The only thing that's really going to work, and more than likely it's not going to happen, is going to be if the kids say something and push it. But a narcissist knows how to control that situation, and more than likely the kids aren't going to risk causing a narcissistic injury and getting themselves punished on it. So you need to recognize that too, because you're not, more than likely your kids aren't gonna stand up to it. Maybe they will. It's every situation is different, but you just have to have realistic expectations. So okay, all right. If you have any comments on this, put comments down below. Would love to hear what you have to say about this. I think love is kind of a weird word to use for this because none of this is really like happy, joy, and a bowl full of rainbows. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you dislike this video, give it a thumbs down. If you do, let me know. I'd really like to know how to make it better or maybe change my approach, because I really want this to be helpful. And if you want to send me anything personally, you can follow the links to, there's ways to do it on YouTube, not the most intuitive, or you can click on the link and go to the website and send me a link there. I really try to do everything I can to comment and acknowledge every comment and email. And that's my goal, is to continue to do that. So hope you guys are doing okay. Hope this video helped you. You're going to get through this. It's going to get, like I've said before, it doesn't necessarily, they're not going to get better, but your ability to deal with it is going to get better, and your life will get better, and the way that you can help your kids is tremendous. So just keep that stability, do everything you can to keep it calm and stable for them, and enable as much stuff as you possibly can, and be there for your kids, and you do the best you can. All right, on that, I'm going to wrap it up. Hopefully you guys are having a good day, and I will talk to you on the next one. Take care, guys. Bye.